moving on to number 5, and actually I will show off the list. God, fucking markers. Boom. My write like a 5-year-old child over here. So yes, number 5 is Her Story. Another game I played last week, basically in 2 separate 2-hour marathon sessions. What this game does, and I won't spoil it at all because there are things to be spoiled. What this game does is it made me feel like an investigator in a way that no other game has even gotten close. You are sitting at this computer, listening to what's going on, and you're typing. I got a notebook out so that I could write down words to search for later, and I forgot to get my notebook. But it's just like it's an entire page I have of just words listed down that I'm searching for and keeping. Oh my god! And it's you'll hear something, you're like, okay, I need to write down Doug. Okay, I'm gonna write down Doug, and then later I'm gonna look up Doug, and then something happens. Something happens where I'm watching this because there are different interviews over time. I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, something's not adding up. And I see it and I start to realize something, and then I realize, oh shit, that is what that is. So it's like, okay, that's what it is. That's what it is. And then once you learn more about it, it's not even that at all. Like there's a twist to the twist. And then even beyond that, there is a separate like backstory of her life that's just as interesting as the crime that's going on. And the crime, honestly, isn't even what this game is about. It is about her and her story, literally, and seeing like what the hell happened in her life and how did she get here? How did this crime happen? What's her involvement? All these other people, what? Oh, they went to this place. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. Oh, her parents. Okay, I'm gonna look that up too. And it's like you start to piece this whole puzzle together, and it doesn't have a definitive ending, and it's just this thing that I walk away from going like, that was amazing. That was astonishing. I loved that. I would play a game like this every 3 months. Just give me another mystery to solve with a bunch of random clips of someone. I would play it. It is so unique and interesting, and I loved it. I loved every second of it, even though using my keyboard the way I have it was like super awkward. Because my PC is connected to my TV, so I don't even have it like a sane person. But it was so interesting to hear, and it's so well acted too. She really needs a lot of kudos for this. I don't want to spoil anything about it, but it's amazing. I loved it. Loved every second of it. It was so much fun. It was so much fun with pen in hand, being like, "Ooh, I'm solving a mystery," and the payoff was good. The payoff was good. There's several things that can be spoiled about. There's like 4 or 5 things that can be spoiled about this game, and there's things that happen that I'm watching a scene and I'm like, did that just? And then you go back to another scene, a clip, and you watch it. Holy shit, that's what's happening. How is that? What is that? Oh my god, like it's so freaking good. So freaking good. Loved it. Okay. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. I should have just wrote everything on it. I'm a moron. Okay. Ori and the Blind Forest. I mentioned there was another Metroidvania game that I feel did better, and that's Ori. This game, besides being beautiful in like a shocking way, uh, it is mechanically so deep and interesting, and the way it unfurls these new abilities, and it also has a new ability that is completely ridiculous and something I wouldn't have expectations for. Like, really? That's something I get to do? And you get it like halfway through the game. Uh, and it's basically the ability to, like, enemies will shoot bullets, not bullets, but like stuff, projectiles. And you can like shift through the projectiles and use it as a jump, like as a boost jump from the projectile. And you can also reflect projectiles with that. So if you boost through this projectile, it'll launch in the opposite direction that you launch. And that just changes the entire game. It features incredibly tense platforming moments that are fantastic in a way that they're the boss fight. You know, like you gotta escape this area, and that's the boss fight. There's no stupid boss you have to kind of fight. Like the combat's fairly limited, but very well implemented. But these escape sequences are, while frustrating, are amazing. And when you get it down, it's exhilarating. It's like defeating a boss in Dark Souls or something. Like, it is exactly what I want from this game. I wasn't expecting to like this nearly as much as I did, and it exceeded all expectations. It is so much fun. There's really only one big complaint I have about this game, and that is that after I beat it, I couldn't go back and keep playing it. Like, it closes off your save file, so you can't go back and collect everything, which is a no-no. And I would have gone back into this world and just wandered around and collected a bunch of random garbage, because it's so good. It's so well put together, and like some of the final areas where you're jumping off shit and reflecting bullets, it's impressive to watch. It is amazing. Love this game to pieces. I really did. Can't say enough nice things about it. Very beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. Come on. Come on. Beautiful. Beautiful game. Just phenomenal. That's a word now. I'm making up a lot of words today. Phenomenal is one of them. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to fill this out for the rest of them. Well, that's all over my finger now. That's what she said. Got black stuff in my finger. I don't know if you can see that. It's coming. Oh, it's coming. Metal Gear Solid 5, or V, or whatever the hell you want to call it, is also one of my most conflicted games of the year. In a way, it's also one of my top 5 disappointing games of the year in terms of a Metal Gear game. This is not the Metal Gear game I was looking for, but overall, after spending like 50, 60 hours with it, it is. In a lot of respects, the story in Chapter 2, I feel, redeems the lull that was 30 hours of Chapter 1. But even beyond that, even ignoring my disappointments with the story and a couple of the missions that are obnoxious, like Metallic Archaea, the mechanics of this game are so well put together, and how it feels to go into this world and just be like, well, I'm wandering around. All right, what's over here? Oh, there's a guy. I'm going to shoot this one guy and see what happens. And then he'll fall asleep and someone will find him. And then they'll call in reinforcements. And then the reinforcements will in search. And like, just seeing the AI do shit is almost just as interesting in this game. And even though it's not the Metal Gear game I necessarily wanted in terms of story, it is the Metal Gear game I wanted in terms of stealth. There are some phenomenal moments of stealth, and the addition of the mechanic, which they added in Ground Zeroes, obviously, of like when you're seen, you get like some like bullet time to shoot them. So many great moments with that. I mean, looking back, there are so many moments where I'm like, oh, I remember that time the mission where there were 3 guys going to a meeting, and I was able to get rid of 2 of them in their cars before they even got there. I just jump out of the bushes and like tranked all 3 of them in the slow motion thing, and that was amazing. Or sneaking on the bridge, that giant bridge you'd know the mission if you played the game. That giant bridge, or sneaking into the place where you get Yui. Phenomenal. Some of the missions at the end, stuff with Quiet. Quiet is such an interesting character. She steals the show in every cutscene she's in, which is why I'm disappointed there are not a lot of cutscenes, because the ones that are in there are so Metal Gear. And maybe I'm one of the few people that loved Metal Gear Solid 4 for the cutscenes, but Metal Gear Solid 3 is my favorite Metal Gear, and this is a continuation of that story. Wink, wink. That's for people who know the spoilers. It's so good, and it's so nice to see just this engine. I feel like if they don't use these stealth mechanics of this engine for anything, it's such a waste. What they have here is gold. It's just pure gold in what's created. Now, I don't agree with how some of the mechanics work out, but going through the world and all the things you can do with them, like the stupid shit, like, oh, if you're in a box, you can run down a hill and slide down the hill in the box. Like, why is that even a thing you can do? Because there's just so many things you can do. And you don't even have to do half of them to play the game or beat the game. But it's so rich and offers so many different, like, being able to see a building and be like, I need to go in that building. Now, do I go here? Or do I enter here? Or do I enter here? Or do I distract? Like, I go and blow up a tank or some shit over here to distract them? What do I do? I don't know. And that's what's so genius about it. And as much as I was disappointed by the story and that it wasn't overall Metal Gear-y enough for me, it was so much fun to play. It really was. I loved it. When it was great, it was so good. It was phenomenally good. To the point of ridiculousness. I mean, and like there's other things too. It's like the buddy system, which is something I was media blackout for this game, which I'm glad I did because there's so little story. I would have seen all of it in the freaking trailers. So I didn't even know you could get buddies in the game until like a month before release. I was like, what? That's a thing? That's so cool. I mean, the horse is great. The dog, that's totally not a dog, is great. Quiet's great. It's so much fun. Just go through the world and see what it is. And that's what it is. It's not a Metal Gear game. It's an open world stealth game starring Snake and friends. And the further I get away from it, I'm okay with that. I am 100% okay with that. Not being the Metal Gear game I necessarily wanted, but a very, we're not going to get a better stealth game for years, like mechanically. How could we? An open world stealth game that does all this stuff? No way. No way. I would love that game, so I hope I'm wrong, because I would love that game. But there's no way. There's no way we're getting that quickly. Now, my number 2 game is gonna, I don't know, it's not gonna piss anyone off because someone's watching this. But it's definitely not what you expect. Definitely not. Definitely not. Let me get a prop here. Because the number 2 game is Guitar Hero Live. This game and its controller, I love. God, this is dusty. Jesus. This game is so fucking good. Oh my god. And they're kind of crinkly. What I love about Guitar Hero was the progression and getting better. You know, starting on easy when I first started playing Guitar Hero way back in 2007 or something, to when it was medium, and then hard, and then expert. And getting to expert and being on expert from basically Guitar Hero 3 through all the Guitar Heroes, through all of Rock Band. And I always liked Guitar Hero more than Rock Band, but being on expert basically meant I'd buy a new game in this series and I'd have a good time, for sure. But I would just be at that level and I would never have that progression of getting better. And that is what Guitar Hero Live brought back, and that's why I was so excited for it, and that is why I love this game. I'm going for the platinum in it, which is basically just a grind at this point. I already did all the difficulty ones. It is so much fun, and what was so much fun about it was learning the controller. And even now when I'm playing on expert, there's crazy shit going on, and it is such a blast to play. Like this new layout here does so much to make the game more interesting. Instead of it being, you know, five keys, so you have one, you have these threes, and then it gets these things where it's like mixing it up. So then you got to be doing things like this. You got to be ready for it. It never does anything like that, does it? Yeah, it does. It does. But it's so much fun, and having to start it at regular, which is the new medium, and then go from regular to advanced, which is the new hard, which I don't like these names, and then going from that, like going from regular to advanced was a step. That was a big step. There's new things with this. Your mind doesn't understand it yet, and getting to that level was so much fun. And getting from advanced to expert, so much fun. And the fact that I can turn it on to the live TV stations and just play random bunch of songs, like who gives a shit? It's so much. What is it called? Decision paralysis or whatever, where there's too many choices and you don't know what to pick. That's what this solves. By having these two radio stations, you can effectively just sit there and be like, oh, I want to play this. Okay. Oh, this other channel's playing indie pop hits of the 2000s. Okay, I'll go over there and play those now. Like it's so much fun. I love every second of it. It's just exactly what I wanted from a Guitar Hero game. And even I should talk about that. The stupid, goofy acting for this is so funny and so terrible. I love it. I love it. It's so dumb. I want to see more of it. It's so goofball. You see these people who are acting to a robot which, by the way, has arms during some of these scenes because you give band members high fives. But seeing these people act and looking at it, some of them are like, and some of them are just like, yeah, I guess this is a cool thing. It's so funny. That's part of the fun to me, is seeing these goofball actors act up a storm for no reason to a giant robot that I'm sure is there. But back to the actual gameplay. There's nothing really I can complain about. Certain things and certain note charts are better than others. But biggest surprise of the year to me, Guitar Hero Live. Loved all of it. Loved it to death. This is the game where I'll still turn on for about an hour and play it throughout the year. I mean, it came out in October. I played it basically until Fallout came out. I was playing Guitar Hero, and then after that I played it some more, and then over the holidays I played it some more, and then PlayStation Network went down, so I stopped playing it. But I'm going to keep going back to this game because I want to get the platinum, but also because it's so much fun, and it's exactly what I wanted, and it's exactly what I needed, and Rock Band can go suck a dick. Because I'm not buying it. I'm not buying Rock Band 4. I bought basically every single game in this stupid thing, except for like AC/DC. I didn't buy that. I didn't buy the Green Day one. But like I had Guitar Hero Aerosmith, loved it. Guitar Hero Metallica, loved it. Guitar Hero Van Halen, loved it. I love all this dumb shit. Love this. Love this. I don't want them to release a new game next year. I want them to release like an expansion pack, basically. I don't need a new game. I just need an expansion pack. Expand on the service. Give me new songs. Done. Love it. Love it. So good. But not as good as number one. Take a little more water. Fancy. On my water bottle. Number one. Can you guess it from that picture? It's Bloodborne. I love Souls. I love Demon Souls, Dark Souls. Dark Souls 2 is the weakest one. Doesn't matter. Bloodborne is by far the most fun I've had. But any game this year, probably the year before, who knows? It's so good. It is the perfect change of the formula from Dark Souls to this. It is still Souls. It is still difficult, but it is difficult in a different way now. The dodging, the fact that you can't block is so revolutionary, and it took me several hours to get used to it, but it was great. It was unbelievably great. I loved every second of it. I have the platinum in this game because it's borderline perfect. Like, there are things I don't like about it, and there are things I would change, but like adding the gems that you can use in your weapons, adding they're all trick weapons, so they all change. Adding different moves, like, oh, now you can charge attack with R2 with every weapon. Adding things like that, learning how to get by these enemies, fighting these bosses that are huge and incredible and tough. And when I was going for the platinum and going through these chalice dungeons, and the chalice dungeons are the weakest part, it always came back to, like, I fought what was it, the bloodletting beast, the poison one. Forget his name off the top of my head. And fighting, there's a version of him you have to fight when you're doing the chalice dungeon stuff to get to the platinum. And I was fighting him so many times, and you just get so good at it. And it gets to the point where I'm fighting him for like 5 minutes, and I haven't been hit. And but I've been hit maybe a couple times, but like I'm dodging everything, and I only have a very narrow window to attack. And it's such a perfect meld of all the mechanics and everything I love about the Souls games. The difficulty, the not necessarily obtuseness. I don't think these games are obtuse or intentionally confusing. It lays everything out for you. It's like, these are the moves you can do. There's no secrets here. Maybe you don't know there's a jump attack. You don't need the jump attack to win. You don't need that. You don't need that at all. You can beat every boss in this game with your fists. You don't need some special ability, some item you find along the way. No. You can beat this game in starting equipment. And that's what's so interesting about it too, is I do beat the game in the starting equipment pretty much. There's like one set of armor that's definitively better than the first set that you can get at the very beginning, and that's what I used for the entire game. For the entire game. And I used the starting weapon. Like, it doesn't even fucking matter. It matters how well you use the weapons. It doesn't matter what weapon it is. It's how you use it. And that's what's been so good about the Souls games this whole time, and what's fucking phenomenal about Bloodborne. It is, I mean, it's why I bought a PS4, and buying a PS4 for one game is stupid unless that game is Bloodborne and you're me, because this game is amazing. I went back for the DLC. The DLC is, I have complaints with it, but none of them have complaints with gameplay. It's phenomenal. It's breathtaking. It's the game where I beat it, did the platinum, I did New Game Plus, I started a new character for the DLC, I started going through the game again on New Game Plus Plus, and it's just so much fucking fun. If there was no other games that came out this year and it was just Bloodborne, I would still be playing it. I would have hundreds and hundreds of hours in this game instead of just 100, which is kind of crazy. You could do everything in this game, platinum it, do everything in the DLC in like 80 hours. It's not that difficult. And it's actually the easiest of the Souls games. Easiest-ish. Parts are a lot easier. I think its difficulty curve is harder, and then it gets kind of even out to. All the Souls games kind of do that, but this one in particular, once you get past Vicar Amelia, is more of a straight shot to the end, as opposed to the other games are kind of a longer crawl, and then it's a easier train ride. But I love this game. This game is about as perfect as you can get. I feel about this game how I feel about Resident Evil 4, which is, top 5 games of all time. Perfect game. Perfect game. I played it for Extra Life for 24 hours, and I loved every second of it, and I can say the same thing about Bloodborne. There is so little wrong with this that picking faults in this game is like getting like a giant ass diamond and being like, well, it could be a little bigger. Like, who gives a fuck? It's this giant $1 million diamond. Just shut the fuck up about it. It's amazing. It's amazing. And here's my goofy list in full. You see it? Axiom Verge, Super Mario Maker, Fallout 4, Mad Max, Resident Evil Revelations 2, Her Story, Ori and the Blind Forest, Metal Gear Solid 5, Guitar Hero Live, and Bloodborne. Phenomenal games, all. Bloodborne. Game of the century. Game of the PS4. That's what I'll call it. Game. That is not the right thing. Game of the PS4. For damn sure. And that's been the Game of the Year show. I do this every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time on Twitch, twitch.tv/BenReacts, which is an ironic name. Long story. That's it. If anyone watches this, tell me how much you disagree with my stupid ass choices. I wonder how many people are going to be mad about Mad Max, or about Resident Evil Revelations 2, or about Her Story, or about Guitar Hero Live. I imagine if anyone's upset about anything, it's Guitar Hero Live. You can go fuck yourself, because that game's amazing. And you're wrong. Your opinion's wrong. I deem it wrong. Okay, you can have your opinion back. I'm stupid, but